Here's a quick experiment. Take a look at these films. Notice something similar? They're from 3 different countries, but all 3 were filmed on location in Hong Kong. Hong Kong continues to be one of the world's most iconic filming locations. And a big part of the reason this city still draws film crews to its crowded streets is that it just looks like nowhere else. The city is so recognizable that you can instantly tell when a film was shot on location, and when it just wasn't. Even here in the Japanese anime Ghost in the Shell, it doesn't take long to realize where the artists found their inspiration. So how did Hong Kong become one of the world's top filming locations?
我諗呢個係同歷史有關係嘅，咁即係上個世紀咁大家都知香港係英國嘅殖民地啦，咁喺即係文化或者係建築、飲食各方面其實都係一個好 mixture 好有趣嘅地方嚟，即係呢一種 culture 嘅混合咧，同埋尤其是香港地方係即係地少人多好密集嘅，咁喺個 visual 上面我覺得係好吸引，係好 photogenic 嘅，係。
Debbie Lam has worked as a producer and location manager for more than 20 films shot in Hong Kong and abroad. She says Hong Kong's mix of diverse locations and memorable architecture is a big part of its draw. It's why you see some locations like this dense apartment complex in Quarry Bay on screen time and time again.
They live, they talk. Kill 'em all. Pleasure.
呢度咧，我諗我嘅背後咧就係海山樓啦，好多西片其實都有喺度取景嘅，咁啊包括我有做過嘅 Transformer 啦，咁我諗佢會揀呢度嘅原因其實係見到好多 household 好密集嘅，咁呢一種視覺經驗我諗係喺即係外地度比較少有咯。
It's not just Hong Kong's uniquely dense architecture that helped make it a star. It's the number of talented, multilingual film production crews in the city as well. At its height, the Hong Kong film industry was one of the most productive in the world. By the early 90s, the city's film industry was producing some 400 movies a year. It was exporting so many of them that it was second only to the United States. It was these films, movies made by celebrated directors like Wong Kar-wai, John Woo, and Andrew Lau that helped cement Hong Kong as a filmmakers' city. It was also an era that, in many ways, defined the city's look in the eyes of foreign directors. Dow Griffith has worked as a location manager for 46 years, specializing in films that shoot on location to capture a sense of realism and grit that's hard to replicate in a studio. He has worked on 2 major Hollywood productions in Hong Kong, Contagion and Ghost in the Shell.
You know, it's such a striking city, there's nothing like it. So places in Mong Kok and streets in Kowloon and that sort of thing, you know, with all the signage and that, you know, it's a kind of a visual texture it's hard to resist, you know, it's just so rich. Contagion was a good example of that. So we wanted people to feel that they were in Hong Kong immediately. And so places like the Star Ferry, and we use things like that you just have to say, oh, okay, we're in Hong Kong.
For Ghost in the Shell, Griffith was presented with a different challenge: how to use the city to represent a vision of the still distant future.
With Ghost in the Shell, it was really fun to just pick really unique places that no one had probably ever filmed at before. You know, it was a complete sci-fi take. But Ghost in the Shell, it was actually the original Japanese production was based on Hong Kong, just visually. it took many of the aspects of Hong Kong in the animated project. I look at location management as a challenge to find locations that tell the story visually just as much as a character does.
While the city remains a popular subject for both local and foreign filmmakers, how it's represented on screen is often quite different.
我會覺得，如果係西片嚟香港，其實佢哋拍緊嗰個香港係一個印象嘅香港。西方攝影師或者導演，佢哋對於 visual 有一啲睇法係唔同。如果我通常係拍西片嘅經驗，其實外國嘅隊伍咧，其實好對香港嘅街市啊係好有興趣嘅，即係我哋成日會話啊，佢哋嚟親都會拍街市啊，即係有啲活嘅雞啊、魚啊，即係呢個係我哋成日都會遇到佢哋嘅
I don't want no ticket.
信啦，睇下好靚啊嘛！
喺好多唔同嘅場景咧，其實佢哋自己喺個 art direction 都會加啲紅燈籠。咁其實我哋自己就會話：喂，香港唔會掛呢啲嘢嘅喎。但係喺我諗可能唐人街，即係佢哋認知嘅華人社會，其實呢啲係好 Chinese 嘅象徵嚟嘅。咁所以其實即係 everywhere 你見到西片喺香港嘅 location 咧，都會掛滿紅燈籠。
Hong Kong's own local movie industry tends to focus more on the inner lives of those who call the city home.
人自己拍電影，因為我哋喺呢度生活啊，即係我會叫嗰個叫做生活嘅香港。對我哋嚟講，嗰個係一個比較真實嘅世界。即係例如譬如呢幾年一啲作品，譬如陳小娟嘅《淪落人》，黃以林嘅《金都》，咁呢啲都其實都係環繞住一啲我哋喺度即係生活，我哋有一啲 local 特色同感受嘅地方咯。係，即係譬如金都係一個即係婚宴嘅小商場，咁淪落人係你見到何文田村嗰種感覺，其實呢啲都係我哋生活會比較緊密有感受嘅地方。
Hong Kong's film industry isn't the hitmaker it once was. The number of locally produced films has fallen from the hundreds down to mere dozens in recent years. Still, thanks in no small part to the work of its homegrown talent, the city has held onto its top billing as one of the world's most sought-after filming locations.
Hong Kong is such an interesting city in that respect because now it has all these levels because of the development and the expansion. To be able to take advantage of that contrast, I mean, it's amazing, what you can put together visually. It really makes for an impressive film location.